In this video, we'll cover everything that you need to know to start your GMAT preparation. To begin with, I'll start with a quick introduction about the GMAT examination itself. Then we will move towards the resources that you will need. Then we'll talk about the most important thing, your preparation strategy to start your journey. And finally, I'll also talk about some common mistakes that people generally make. So let's begin. So the GMAT has three sections: quant, data interpretation or DI, and the verbal. Each of the three sections are of equal importance, and during the exam, you get 45 minutes for each of the sections to solve. Quant and DI has 22 questions each to solve in 45 minutes, while verbal has 23 questions to solve in the given 45 minutes. GMAT is an adaptive examination. What it means is the next question that is going to appear on your screen will depend on your performance and your accuracy on the previous questions you have solved so far. And what this means is you can only solve one question at a time. You can neither go back nor you can skip any questions. You'll have to solve the question that appears on your screen, and then only you can move forward. However, there is a way to change your option or change any review a question that you have solved, but it comes only when you have solved a particular section. And if you have time left at the end for that section, you have this option to review a particular question that you have bookmarked or even not, and you can go and change that particular option. And there are a total of 3 such changes that you can make for one particular section. Coming to the scores, the GMAT exam is of total 805 score, and anything above or on 675 is considered to be a very good score. To give you a reference, the average GMAT score to get admit into ISB is approx 665, and the average GMAT score for Harvard or Wharton is 675. But if you're an Indian and if you want to also get some scholarship, you should definitely aim for a higher score. Now coming to the resources. So here I won't take long and make things very simple for you. There are only 2 good platforms out there which provide a very good resources for GMAT. First is my personal favorite is eGMAT, and I personally used it for my interview GMAT preparation. Second is top 1%. Whoever around me has used top 1% has given very good reviews for it. One thing I can vouch for each of them is if you get either of them, you don't have to look for anything else. These have enough videos, enough questions, enough material to last your entire GMAT preparation, and these are the best 2 platforms that I see out there. If you are going for anything else apart from these 2, based on these marketings that other platforms do, please be very, very careful. And unless taking recommendation from someone who has prepared for the examination, do not go for anything else. Now coming to the most critical part. How do you start your preparation, or what should be your starting preparation strategy? So before you do anything else, you should be first aware of what you are getting into. What actually GMAT is, not just the words, the CR, RC, quant, verbal, DI, but what actually GMAT is. And to do that, you need to solve actual GMAT questions. And how do you do it? The best resource available out there is from GMAT itself. It's the GMAT official guidebooks, or the GMAT OG we call it. It's very readily available. You can find it in Amazon, or any of your friend who has prepared for GMAT ever will definitely have it. So you start with solving questions for each of the 3 sections. Solve at least 50 to 100 questions from each of these sections, each of the 3 sections, quant, verbal and DI, and you will understand from here what are you getting into, what actually GMAT is, what is that you actually have to prepare. So this is where you begin. Next, after you have understood the kind of questions which are actually asked in the GMAT, a very basic gist of it, by solving questions from the official guide, you start your preparation with quant and verbal. And why not DI? Because DI's entire syllabus is 60 to 70% quant and verbal. So if you have completed quant and verbal, your 60 to 70% of DI is already sorted there. Hence, you start with quant and verbal. For quant, if you're an engineer and you're comfortable with quants already, you do not have to go and read each and every topic and understand its concepts. You can directly go and start with solving questions, and there are a lot of these, plenty of questions present in the resources that I recommended. Hence, for quant, you directly start with solving questions, and based on it, you identify particular topics where you are not very good at or comfortable at, and go and review those topics and concepts for only those topics. You do not have to go and waste your time, reading and revising every concept which is out there for quant. Those are very simple from basics class 9th and 10th, and especially if you are someone who has good command over quant, you don't need it. If you are not very comfortable with quant, you are very weak at it, you should definitely go and see every single topic and follow the course which the GMAT or top 1% they recommend. Next, for verbal, verbal has two sections: the critical reasoning and the reading comprehension. So generally, we should start with the critical reasoning. And how do we start? We do the course which is recommended or given in the platform that you have chosen. So there's a structured course, topic wise, strengthening, weakening, assumptions, boldface, everything. It's topic wise. You practice that. And for reading comprehension, parallelly throughout your preparation, you have to keep solving reading comprehension. That's the only way. And if your reading comprehension is not very strong, you should definitely go and watch the tutorials which are there in the platform of your choice, or there are some videos in GMAT Ninja as well on YouTube, which also I recommend to start your before you start your preparation for reading comprehension, and that was very, very effective for me. So please do check out GMAT Ninja's video in YouTube for reading comprehension. Yes. So to summarize it all, you start with quant and verbal. For quant, you either go with, if you're very weak at it, you start with each of the topics, or generally if you are good with quants, you directly start with the questions. For verbal, you start with critical reasoning concepts which are there in the platform, and parallelly keep solving reading comprehension. Once you have completed these two and have good command in RC and verbal and quant, you should jump into DI. For DI, the course which is there in I personally went with GMAT, so the course that is there is sufficient enough. You do not need anything else. And yes, this is how you begin your preparation for quant, verbal, and then later for DI. At last, I wanted to talk about two particular bottlenecks that we might face while preparing for our GMAT. First is the limited number of questions. So unlike CAT, where we have thousands of questions all across, there are so many free materials as well. In GMAT, there are very limited good resources available. For example, even if you have opted for eGMAT, there are only suppose 1000 questions for quant, and you have to complete your entire preparation within these, by practicing only these 1000 questions. So do not run after numbers. Do not keep your target as finishing those 1000 questions will take to your dream GMAT score. It does not work that way. Once you have solved 100 questions, reflect on all the mistakes that you made there and try to solve them in the next questions that you're going to solve, rather than keeping a target of solving 1,000 questions. So this is how you prepare your GMAT with the limited resources you have. But anyways, it is a kind of bottleneck that we face. The second bottleneck is limited number of mocks. So the only good mocks that are available for GMAT is the 6 official mocks that are present in MBA.com. Apart from that, no other mocks are accurate to the GMAT examinations since they are adaptive, and the ones in the official 6 mocks are actually adaptive. So apart from these 6 mocks, there are no other mocks which are as good as and as accurate as the actual GMAT examination. Hence, you should use these mocks very wisely and only use them at the end of your preparation when you are preparing for exam, right? Else otherwise you will run out of them and you won't have very accurate things to practice at the end when you have to actually go and give your examination. So be very careful there.